Alright, here we are talking about fretting a viola or another stringed instrument. I'll let you look at it before I talk about it. The first thing I should say is that I'm making this video and documenting this because I'm about to take these metal frets off. These metal frets, while they're great, and I use them because I know how to use metal. I've made, earrings. I've done some light jewelry. They dig into the wood. They are not used for a specific reason. If this were a more than $200 viola that, I got it off eBay, I would not have used metal on it. Before I put metal on it, I used microfilament. I used fishing line at a specific gauge. I don't quite remember. Maybe it was 50 pound. That's not the gauge, but yeah, that kept sliding around. I'm sure some people do that, but it wasn't working for me at some point, and I was like, whatever, let me take this off and put some metal on, and it's mostly worked. Before I tell you about what I'm doing next on this, let me just tell you how this metal works. So, I twisted the wire around the ends here, as you can see, and that does make it tight to a certain degree. I should say also that before I did that, I basically played without frets the notes that I wanted to hear. What does my perfect fifth sound like? What does my perfect fourth, my major, minor, third sound like? And I marked that. I didn't use any fancy instruments. I just used my ear to say where I thought that sounded good. And I think that's fair to do. And then I put the frets accordingly. So you can twist the metal fret there. That's fine, although to really get the tension desired on the fret, so it's not sliding to and fro, you have to do this cool thing kind of in the back where I got my little needle nose pliers, which again are for the purposes of jewelry making, and I just twisted a little bit. Actually, I could show you because I'm about to take this off. These frets just twist a little bit, and that little curve that was made maintains in the string. And I'm probably giving too much detail here, but rather than put a lot of stress at this one point where you want the tension to be, make a lot of little areas where you tension and thus stress annihilate. Is that the proper term for metal? The galvanized stainless steel wire. So that's how I made these. Why make frets? There's the honest answer, which is I started playing these bowed string instruments not many years ago, and I admit to this, and people will be the first to accuse you of this anyway. So yeah, it's not my native thing to have a fretless instrument. I play fretless banjo. That seems fine, but when you get to the world of bowing, it's a lot to think about, honestly. And I wanted to do some more chordal things as well. I wanted to that would be pretty hard for me to do that easily if I didn't have frets. And I play fiddle, and I work at that. So I'm not saying this is my crutch for life. But viola, I got a scale that was honestly too big also. I was like, man, to play this high this high, what is the 7th fret here, if you count half steps. That's a big stretch for my hand, which is a normal size, but even still, on like a 16-inch fiddle, viola rather, it's a stretch. So that's why frets. You could do chordal things, triple stops, quadruple stops, quintuple stops, maybe. That would otherwise be quite difficult. Why not frets? You can get better intonation, although ideally you can adjust these to help the given key that you're in. But still, I've played with other string players, and there have been times when I put this down because I couldn't get the frets exactly where I wanted them to be, and I could really just tune in to the other players better on a fretless violin. That makes perfect sense. So I'll tell you what I'm doing next, which is, you know, as is the historical tradition, to put on some actual gut frets. And I have to lower this bridge a little bit, which I've carved myself because my old one started to bow too much. But yeah, I got this nice from Gamut Music gut. It's varnished, which I think apparently makes it last longer and makes it less subject to humidity. And I'll do that, and it's a 0.7 millimeter gauge. What they do, interestingly enough, I don't quite understand it, but they make they have a system of graduated frets where the thickest fret, I would think it's the opposite because of where the strings are. They have the thickest fret there usually, you know, if you're talking about viols, that whole family of instruments, which this is related to, obviously. They have the thickest one there, and then the frets are graduated. I believe increasing. I'm going to get a bunch of comments if I get that wrong, but I think that's... No, they're decreasing, excuse me, as you go up the neck, because here is where the... it's not close, the string, but it will vibrate a lot. So it actually does get quite close to the fretboard. If my video was better, you would perhaps see that. Anyway, so I've just talked a lot, hopefully not rambled too much, but this is a video documenting my trials, troubles, and tribulations with these metal frets, probably on the night that I'm about to take them off and lower my bridge and then put on these not Nile gut, but actual gut 0.7 millimeter frets. I could tell you how that goes if y'all are interested. Anyway, if you have questions, I basically made this video, again, not only to document this, because I learned a lot from other people on YouTube, and took people's little tricks, and I wish more people were posting, so I want to be the little change I want to see in the world. If somebody showed me, like, oh yeah, twist the frets back here on a viol, I wouldn't have to watch people talking about their cigar banjos, cigar case banjos, who figure that out, which is awesome. And I'm glad for those videos I've watched. And maybe you also want to fret your fiddle. They also make things on the front that you could just push down, and that have glue on the back, or they're tape. But for a 5-string viola, they don't exist. As far as I've researched, even even while emailing some people in these companies I've been alluding to. Anyway, that's all I have to say for now. Thank you very much. Uh, here's my my metal fretted 5-string viola, something to work on, perhaps especially in quarantine. And happy music making to you and yours.